From the windy shores of the Caspian Sea, it's another Olympiad-themed chess center. We have the report on the men's and women's section of the more than 160 federations competing. Also, a small bit on the smaller nations. Yes, they play chess just about everywhere. And finally, the inside scoop from the man who wants to impeach the FIDE president. In the land where everyone's last name ends in V but my own, it's ChessCenter.
We're here with Ian Wilkinson, delegate for Jamaica at the FIDE Congress, where the General Assembly is starting in a few days from now. And as I understand, Ian, you're going to bring up a very interesting motion.
Yes, Jamaica moved a motion to ask the General Assembly to have the president resign, or if he does not resign, to be removed. Primarily because we are concerned that the state that FIDE is in, we understand their accounts are in trouble. We have had problems raising sponsorship because of the image of the FIDE president, and we thought that he cannot govern properly because of the sanctions imposed by the United States Department of Treasury Foreign Assets Control Office.
And how do you see the chances for this motion to actually be approved?
I think the chances are very good. At the very least, the motion will generate necessary discussions and debate, because FIDE has to revitalize, and it's a time for change. After 21 years approximately, we need fresh blood in FIDE, which is very, very sick right now.
All right, next week in Chess Center we will find out if Kirsan Ilyumzhinov is still the FIDE president.
Amidst the hustle and bustle of the Baku nightlife, the 42nd Olympiad is just past the halfway point. Peter Doggers tells Chess Center viewers about the recent action.
Absolutely. Well, just before the rest day, the Olympiad saw its first big matchup between Russia and Ukraine. And it was Ukraine who won that match, surprisingly. A bit of a setback for Russia, of course, who are still waiting for their first Olympic win since 2002. Ukraine already lost their first matchup as well. Today they played against the USA, and it was Fabiano Caruana who won an important game against Pavel Ulyanov on board one.
USA over Ukraine, shades of the final match of the 2008 Olympiad. I also understand, Peter, that at the top of the tables we have a unique development.
Yeah, absolutely. If we may believe this tweet here, it's India who's leading an Olympiad for the first time ever. It's India now on 12 points, USA the only team on 11 points, and then 10 teams on 10 points. India actually beat my compatriots today. Sadly, Erwin Lamy blundered horribly against Bhaskaran Atiban, and that was the decisive game in this match to get India to the top.
And over on the women's side, Ukraine could have had sole lead were it not for an unbelievable save by Valentina Gunina in their head-to-head match against Russia. Instead, that match tied 2-2. Ukraine and Russia are tied atop the women's standings with a whole bevy of teams chasing them. Clearly too close to call over in the ladies' division.
All right, and our move of the week is from the match India-Costa Rica from round 2. We have the game Atiban versus Minero. Show us what brilliancy we got to see here.
Yeah, Peter, it was a study-like ending here. White, of course, is trying to queen this pawn to f8, but the rook is covering f7. So White plays amazing move, bishop to f6. The point is that the rook is cut off, meaning that the rook has to take on f6, but unfortunately for Black, there's this beautiful move, rook a6 check. And if the king comes to e7, it looks like f8 is covered twice, but after rook takes rook, now if the king takes, you queen, and otherwise you're up material.
And while world champion Magnus Carlsen plays here at the Olympiad, a commercial came out in his native Norway. Let's take a look at it.
Hei! Hva det her for noe? Noen bønder fra eller til spiller vel ikke så stor rolle?
Well, there you have it. I have no idea what we just saw, but Sergei Karyakin, if you're watching, now you know the secret to beating Magnus at the World Championship in November. Just somehow get 50 tractors into downtown Manhattan. No problems, the guy can't sleep. Here at the Olympiad, everything from Palau to Palestine is represented. Every single Chess.com news report has featured one of these small nations, and it turns out, every time we write about them, they seem to do well. Take South Sudan's board 3, Michael Kowal, won his first 3 games ever at the Olympiad for a brand new nation. Also, we had the Filipino women who had one of the upsets of the tournament, beating the storied Georgian women's team in round 2. And lastly, we also wrote extensively about the Sri Lankan women who have 2.5 match points out of the first 4, even though 80% of their team are young teenagers. Impressive performances, and they're also having a trip of a lifetime. And we are halfway through the Olympiad, thousands of games to choose from, but we definitely have one blunder of the week. Here to show us, Grandmaster Robert Hess.
Yeah, here in an important match between Belarus and Paraguay, the player with the white pieces from Grandmaster Kubas from Paraguay, he made the horrendous blunder, rook a to g1. Idea is clear, hit the g file. Unfortunately for him, it's a self-mate. Queen takes h2 check. Of course, the only move is king takes h2. And now after rook h4, rook h3 is the only move, and rook h3 is checkmate. So instead of tying this match, the Paraguayan team lost.
You know it's a blunder when even Bobby Hess can see it. And while Danny is out shopping for Pampers, we replace him with somebody 150 points higher. Robert, are you ready for time trouble?
Well, they call me Bobby, not Baby, but I certainly am. Mike, a Japanese player was caught with a cell phone but not accused of cheating. Are the anti-cheating measures working?
I think so. I mean, nowhere in the regulations does it say you can't be hunting for Pokemon during your game. My stats tell me that the USA has never won team gold when Russia or the Soviet Union has competed. Is this the year?
Well, with 3 top 10 players, anything but a goal will be a disappointment. Should the Latvian Minister of Finance quit her day job?
I don't think so. The last Olympiad, she only had 1 win in total, so while her game against Ho Yifan is a win for the ages, I think she should stick to the money option. Magnus has only won about half of his games in the last 4 Olympiads. Why does he struggle so much?
Well, Mikey's too busy thinking about who to take to the Bermuda party. Speaking of which, the Bermuda party's tonight. Any fun predictions?
Not really. My friends see me as a journalist that can't run to the other room fast enough. Finally, Ukraine has been doing awesome. They beat Russia without their traditional first board, Vasily Ivanchuk. Robert, do you have any intel on where he is?
Well, Ivanchuk's busy playing in a 10x10 checker tournament, but bigger isn't always better. He should be here in the 8x8.